Hi, and welcome to part 2 of our Monster tutorial video about painting and decorating your monster sculpture. On my sculpture, the first thing I realised was that the teeth needed to be dulled down, so I'm just using some white paint over my teeth. They were plastic, so they were 3D printed, and I'm just using a wet cloth to wipe off some of that paint. The colours I'm using on my sculpture are cool red, magenta, violet, warm red and yellow. So I'm trying to keep with that dark purpley red violet colours and I'm mixing cool red and magenta. And on my tongue I wanted it to be brighter than the rest of it, so I'm actually using a warm red on the tongue area. For shadow areas or deeper areas, do think about using darker versions of your colours. My usual advice, avoid black and use just darker variants or your complementary colour to darken it. Here I'm using my violet. Also make sure that you do those hard to reach areas early and blend colour on your sculpture. So don't mix separate colours, just pick up little bits of tints and shades of the colours that you're working with and let them mix and blend on your sculpture for much more realistic effect. I was really keen to pick up the green of the eyes that I used on my monster, so I'm using this yellow green or a lime colour. It's also the complement of the red violet, so I've got to be really conscious of it not making my paint darker. So I'm making sure my red violet is really dry, and I'm using a dry brushing technique to brush that lime green over the top of my red violet areas. And this actually emphasises the texture because I'm picking up those higher areas. It's really important that you pick up your sculpture from time to time and look at the underneath areas and make sure that you are painting all of those areas and looking at it from all different angles. That texture that you thought looked really cool is actually really hard to paint. So in those areas you can't quite get to, use a stiffer brush, use more water in your paint and use a dabbing motion to press the bristles into those textured areas. Remember, flat colour looks boring. Use a variety of tints and shades and let them mix and blend on your sculpture to get a wide variety. I like to emphasise the texture on my sculptures. This is a technique that I use quite often. It's called distressing. You don't have to do this. So this is using Indian ink to brush over the top of all my painted surfaces, and then I'm using a slightly damp cloth to wipe the Indian ink off. I need to be really careful because I can over wipe it and it actually then removes the colour as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just being very selective in the areas that I'm applying ink to. It's those edges where paint would naturally wear off, and this actually emphasises the texture because you're taking off the top surface of the texture. So you can selectively do this around areas, or you can leave your paint quite thick and solid across your sculpture. To make your monster come alive, it's important that we add details. Every good monster has some nice drool and slime coming out of its mouth, and so we're going to use hot glue to do this. My hot glue was actually too hot and it was too runny, so it is probably important that you do think about the temperature of your hot glue, and what you can see here is that it's actually dripping too much, so you can play with the temperature. I'm also hot gluing all of my little textural pieces on, so my spikes, and this is where you can add all of those funky little features that you want to do. I didn't like all the real stringy bits left from the hot glue, so I've just gone around with scissors and cut those off. Make sure you do a final check, look at all sides, top, bottom, underneath, and check those areas that you've missed. I forgot to do the ring pull area, so I'm just adding some slime coming out of that ring pull area. And again, you can see here my hot glue was too hot. And there you have your final monster. Make sure that you check for details that you might have missed. You can add some more slime. You can see here in my finished result, I've actually added some little ants crawling around my piece with some hot glue as well. Hope you enjoy this task. Look forward to seeing your final results.